Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I thank who've inspired me. I hope they can inspire you as well. We'll have links below to their sites here: Rabbi Shalom Arash, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Elon Anavar, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rabbi Daniel Asser, Nisan Baruch Black, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Usher, Rabbi Ron Ruvain, and Rabbi Yosef Chesney. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video which explains what M.L.M for the soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So this again is a departure from the parasha that I usually do. So this is actually from, again, from Rabbi Daniel Travis. I've done some videos about his stuff that he's done. And he's, again, the Rosh Kol of the Kolel, Torah Chaim Yerushalayim. And this is about Eishes Chayil. And it's called Eishes Chayil, or I call it Eishes Chayil and the deeper message of the Torah. So the question is, who is an Eishes Chayil? So this is, so the Vilna Gaon, excuse me, explains that the word Chayil has the gematria of 48. And that the verses of Eishes Chayil refer to 48 ways that Torah is acquired by. So he brings a proof to the concept that Chayil refers to the 48 Kinyanim from the verses in Yitro, who advised Moshe Rabbeinu to choose Anshe Chayil, which means Tzadikim, who have already acquired the 48 Kinyanei HaTorah. So if Torah was only a Chachma, which is another source of wisdom, you could pick it up and study it like any textbook. However, Chazal teach us in Shabbos 104a that Hashem had placed, quote, himself, as it were, into the Torah, and by studying Torah, you are elevating your neshama closer to the Borei Olam. The 48 Kinyanei HaTorah weaken the sense of self from a person and fuse one's own neshama with Hashem. So the quintessential women of valor, which is what it means as Eishes Chayil, is a mashal, which is an analogy for acquisition of the Torah. In order to understand the nimshal of Torah, we must first try and understand what the Vilna Gaon means, that an Eishes Chayil is someone who has acquired the 48 ways that the Torah is acquired by using the Kinyanei HaTorah. So the mashal's analogy, nimshal, is what we're focusing on. Like, I forget how you say nimshal. So mashal is just like a parable, and then the nimshal is what actually is like the truth. So what is bina? So bina, in regards to the words, who can find it, the Gra brings two psukim, which the commentators explain refer to using bina to access the deepest depths of the Torah. And I don't know who can find it. That's from Mishlei. I'm sorry. So I didn't mention the pasuk. It's the pasuk in Mishlei, Perek Lamed Aleph pasuk Yud. It says Eishes Chayil miyimsa v'rachok mipnim michra. So that's where the miyimsa is. Who can find it? So the Malbim explains that Hashem's wisdom is infinite. So how can we access it? The answer is through bina, understanding one thing from the next. That's what bina means. Assessing a situation and determining how the Torah wants us to deal with it. So from the words of the Al-Sheikh and the Even Ezra, we see that through Torah, a person can understand the depth of what the proper way to act in the future is. That is what Eitzah, meaning advice, is all about. And it is buried deep in one's heart and can be accessed through bina. So bina, again, is understanding one thing from the next. So the Vilna Gaon explains the verse that the Even Ezra cites that refers to the bina one needs how to relate. Okay, let me start that again. The Vilna Gaon explains the verse that the Even Ezra cites that refers to the bina one needs how to relate Torah back to your life. He brings an analogy of someone who needs water from a deep well. So he ties one string to the next until he has a rope. So too, using bina, a person can get deeper and deeper understanding until they can achieve their goals. And what is bina yisera? So that's another question. So that's like an added bina. Men are strong in das, which is the ability to tie many ideas together and come to a conclusion. This is one of the primary tools needed for studying Gemara and Halacha in depth. And this is one of the reasons that women do not have this mitzvah. Instead, women were blessed with what's called bina yisera, extra bina. This gives them the ability to see beyond the surface level of the Torah and understand the deeper message that the Torah is conveying to us. The Torah is a lot deeper than it may appear at face value. If you look at the surface level, you will see the rules and regulations how a Jew is meant to live his life. However, the power of bina yisera is to go beyond this initial face level and to see how the Torah wants us to live our lives. For example, from the mitzvah to love converts, we can induce that anyone who is a stranger or in a new environment or in a new environment feels uneasy, and we should do the best we can to make them feel welcome. From the halachos of Lashon Hara and Onas Devarim, we can induce that the way you speak to people, the choice of words, the tone of voice, and nonverbal communication are also critical. So it's not just the actual Lashon Hara, saying derogatory speech. It's everything that goes along with it. I'm just adding that, so it's like interesting that it has all those parts in it. The Noam Elimelech, relating to Bahar, I guess the Parshas Bahar, explains that from the prohibition of ribis, which is not to lend money with interest, we can learn that whenever a person does a mitzvah, he should not have side benefits in mind, but be l'shem shamayim, meaning he shouldn't expect something in return. Wisdom, strength, and wealth are not praiseworthy at all. The only thing that is praiseworthy is someone who is close to Hashem. This is the point of the Torah, and this is the reason that a person should exert himself to acquire the Torah through 48 Kinyanei HaTorah. Having to do with Kabbalah Torah. So again, Mishlei Perak Lamed Aleph Pasuk Chav says, "Rabot banos Eishes Chayil v'at alit al kulana." Again, that's from Eishes Chayil. So the Vilna Gaon Mishlei, like we said, Mishlei 31:29 explains that it is close to impossible for one person to have all 48 midos that the Torah is acquired by. It is only the composite of all the Jewish people together, each one having some of these midos, that make it possible for Kabbalah Torah as a klal. Rav Chaim Volozhin comments that the Vilna Gaon had all 48 midos, for he used every ounce of his strength to learn Torah Lishma. That's pretty amazing. Each and every one of us has special talents and gifts that no other neshama has. While he might in fact be distanced from all 48 Kinyanei HaTorah, there is at least one of them that we connect to and that we may be naturally gifted with. And then a woman's role in the Kabbalah Torah. So, and Adam Gadol once commented, it doesn't say who that is, men are meant to relay the content of Har Sinai. Women are meant to relay the experience of Har Sinai. On the surface level, the Torah teaches us the halachas of how to run our lives. But there is much more than meets the eye. By using Bina, women and men can understand what the experience of growing up as a Jew is meant to be. Rav Sternbach passionately describes how his mother raised him and his family when his father was nifter at a young age. She raised and supported her family and imbued them with Yiras Shamayim, which means fear of heaven, or awe of heaven. When people would come to speak to her in Elul, she would say, "I am not available now. I have a court case coming up soon." When she would daven by the grave of her late husband, Goyim would come to watch her passionate prayer. She used her Bina Yisera to give her children the experience and warmth of Har Sinai, and was so successful that they all became or married Gedolim. Pretty amazing. So women were gifted with Bina Yisera, which is the extra insight. They have the special ability to see beyond the surface level and understand the deeper message that the Torah and that other Jews are conveying to us. Each woman should try and focus on her unique qualities and strengths, and that her special gift to the Kabbalah Torah of the entire Jewish people. So that's just a little message. I mean, men can, get a message out of this too, but just to learn that there is something deeper to it, and and women are able to kind of get it out better than men. And I hope and pray they will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen. And thanks for watching.